In 1949, Alexander McCormick Sturm and William B. Ruger formed a partnership that resulted in the Sturm Ruger and Company Incorporated, now just referred to as simply Ruger. Out of that partnership, the first Ruger semi-automatic pistol was born, incorporating the looks of the German 9mm Luger, the Japanese Nambu pistol, and the American Colt Woodsman. Ruger's standard .22 caliber pistol was born. From that first pistol, an entire company was launched. The Ruger Standard soon led to the Mark I, Mark II, Mark III, and at the time of this review, the Mark IV series of pistols, and one that catered to the 1911 audience, the .22-45, that was first introduced as part of the Mark III series. I have had all of the Mark series of pistols and developed, as most did, a love-hate relationship with them. They all, including the .22-45, were fine pistols. Not so fine was the disassembly and assembly of them that forced owners of these pistols to discover new physical contortions and mouthing expletives that were created specifically because of those pistols. Now, the Ruger Mark series of pistols were not the only .22 caliber semi-automatic pistols that were lovable to shoot but not maintain. One of Ruger's closest competitor, Smith & Wesson, had introduced the Model 41, a competition .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol, in 1947. This pistol is still popular and sought after even today. A number of years ago, Smith & Wesson introduced a new .22 caliber semi-automatic pistol that rocked Ruger's world, the SW22 Victory. The Smith & Wesson SW22 Victory was an exception when it was introduced, and it is a fine pistol of the .22 caliber persuasion. The single-point takedown system, consisting of a screw, was welcomed by me and many others, and the pistol was destined to replace the Ruger Mark as top dog. Well, that may have changed a bit. As I mentioned, I have owned my fair share of Ruger Mark pistols through the years, including the first generation Mark III .22-45 that I still own. Most of the Mark pistols have left the fold to allow someone else the joy of disassembly and assembly, and I rarely, unless I want to test my patience with disassembling and assembling the darn thing, does it see the range. A surge of excitement swept through the body when I found out about the Ruger Mark IV that incorporates a method of disassembly and assembly that should have been incorporated, I thought, many moons ago, if Ruger was really listening to its customer base. Well, it seems that Ruger has finally seen the light, and I wanted a piece of that light. The Ruger Mark IV Target model that I purchased is not top of the line, although I have to say that the Hunter model spoke words to me. I am an everyday man like most, and I felt that an everyday man's pistol was all that I needed. And, in all honesty, I can say that the cost of the Mark IV was within the realm of what could be considered a frugal man's budget. This review is not going to go into as much detail that I am known for. Since the Ruger Standard pistol has been around since 1949, I feel no need to rehash history by comparing one Mark pistol to another. There are enough significant changes with the Ruger Mark IV, however, as compared to previous models, that I do need hashing, and I am happy to hash those out with you. Without further ado, let's take a look at the basic specifications and features of the Mark IV. The key feature of the Ruger Mark IV is, of course, the advanced takedown mechanism that separates the Mark IV from any other Ruger Mark pistol. No longer needed are paper clips, mallets, or an extensive compilation of conflagrant cuss words. When the Ruger Mark IV pistol is deemed to be safe and the magazine removed, the pistol needs to be cocked and the thumb safety lever placed in the safe position. Then, while holding the barrel with one hand, the thumb of the other hand presses a button inward to release the upper assembly. Note that the takedown button is under spring tension, enough so that the takedown button won't be pushed easily and accidentally release the upper assembly. Once the upper assembly is free from the bolt stop, the upper assembly can be removed from the frame. Once the upper assembly is removed from the frame, the bolt can be removed from the upper assembly. That's it, and it is as simple as that. To reassemble the pistol, place the bolt into the upper assembly. Place the barrel receiver assembly on top of the frame so that the notch in the receiver aligns with the pivot pin in the grip frame. Rotate the barrel receiver assembly down onto the bolt stop pin in the grip frame. Gently squeeze the barrel receiver assembly and the grip frame assembly together so that a click is heard, and check to ensure that they are firmly together and cannot be pulled apart. It needs to be noted that once the upper is locked into place with the lower, there is absolutely no detectable play between the upper to lower fit. With this new takedown and assembly system, there should be absolutely no excuse for not taking care of the pistol. After any disassembly and reassembly, it is important to verify that the action is working correctly before any live firing is attempted. Note that dry firing is safe to do with the Ruger Mark IV. First, be sure that there is no ammunition in the chamber or the magazine, and keep the pistol pointed in a safe direction at all times. With the magazine out of the gun, the bolt forward, and the manual safety in the fire position, pull the bolt to the rear and release it. Perform this step twice. The bolt should move freely all the way to the rear and close completely under force of the recoil spring. Insert an empty magazine into the pistol and pull the bolt to the rear. Release the bolt. The bolt should be held open by the bolt stop. Remove the magazine. The bolt should remain open. Pull the bolt fully to the rear and release it. The bolt should move freely forward to its closed position. With the magazine removed from the pistol, cycle the bolt open and closed to ensure that the hammer is cocked. With the magazine removed, move the manual safety to fire and pull the trigger. The trigger should move slightly rearward and stop. The hammer should not fall. Insert an empty magazine into the pistol. Move the manual safety to safe and attempt to pull the trigger. Trigger should move rearward slightly and stop. The hammer should not fall. With the empty magazine still inserted into the pistol, move the manual safety to fire and attempt to pull the trigger. Trigger should move fully forward and you should hear a click as the hammer falls. Attempt to move the manual safety to safe. The manual safety lever should not move to safe with the hammer in the fired position. If any function check should fail, do not attempt to live fire the pistol. Contact Ruger customer service or a qualified and certified gunsmith. The new Ruger Mark IV comes with an ambidextrous thumb safety lever, not a button as on previous versions. However, there is a feature that some stone-cold right-handed shooters may like. The right side safety lever can be removed. To remove the right side safety lever, the right side grip panel must be removed. Removal of the grip panels requires the use of a 3/32 inch Allen wrench. Next, remove the right side lever using a 1/16 hex Allen wrench. Then, install a spacer that is provided with the pistol in place of the safety lever. Finally, install the right side grip panel using the original screws. The safety levers are extended, and neither seem to interfere with the thumb of my shooting hand, using a low thumb shooting grip. I did find the safety lever difficult to move from the fire position into the safe position when using the thumb of the shooting hand. It seems to be best, for me, to use the thumb of the support hand to operate the safety lever. With that said, the right side safety lever did pinch my shooting hand on several occasions when moving the safety lever down into the fire position. For me, the right side safety lever was removed. One should be able to operate the safety lever without having to shift the shooting hand out of the way. I simply found the right side safety lever bothersome. Note that the left side safety lever cannot be removed, at least not in the same fashion as the right side safety lever. The bolt stop thumb piece, which is Ruger's term, is extended and should be within reach of most thumbs. Note that the bolt stop is a lever-actuated device, not a button, as was previous Mark II versions, and is much better defined than the bolt stop lever of the Mark III. Unlike previous Ruger Mark pistols, the grip frame, the lower, is now a one-piece CNC machined lower. The lower of the Target model is aluminum, whereas a stainless steel version of the Target model and the top-of-the-line Hunter models lower is stainless steel, and all one-piece CNC machined. The basic grip panels are of black polymer with the Ruger logo. The grip panels are fastened to the frame with 3/32 hex screws. The texture of the grip panels is somewhat aggressive due to the diamond checkering. I have exchanged the standard grip panels for something more my liking, the oversized target grips. These hand-filling oversized target grips are smoothly contoured, comfortable, and of Cocobolo diamond wood laminate, featuring a natural pointing grip angle. The checkered sides makes for a non-slip hold. Finger grooves provide a solid hold even with sweaty hands. Grip does not include an embossed Ruger Eagle, as was my preference when ordered through the Altamont Company. They are a natural wood product with beautiful darkened grain pattern. The Ruger Mark IV ships with two 10-round magazines. Note that the Ruger Mark IV also uses Mark III magazines. These magazines have a polymer base plate, and the magazine can be disassembled for maintenance or parts replacement. The magazine release button, which is located just rearward of the trigger guard, is extended and sits very close to the left side grip panel. I had no problem releasing magazines without changing my shooting grip when the need arose. The magazines spring outward from the frame when they are released. No more grabbing the bottom of a magazine to strip it from the frame. The sights are of the notch and post type, without embellishment. Front sight, however, can be easily exchanged with a sight of your choosing, such as the fiber sight found on the Hunter model, which was my sight of choice, and which easily replaced the Target sight. The upper assembly is drilled and tapped for Weaver or Picatinny rails for easy mounting of optics. The rail, however, is not included. The trigger is a curved affair with a serrated face that provides a nice surface for the trigger finger. There is about 3/8 of an inch of slack until the trigger encounters resistance. From that point, there is an ever so slightly feeling of mushiness until the trigger breaks clean at approximately 4 pounds and 15 ounces. I suspect that the trigger will smooth out after use. Trigger pull is reminiscent of a 1911 pistol. 1911 folks should like it. Note that because of the magazine disconnect safety, Ruger Mark IV cannot be fired with the magazine out of the pistol. At this point, I think that it's time to take the Ruger Mark IV Target to the range to see if it lives up to its name. While I have always liked the Bill Luger line of Mark pistols, the Mark IV finally brought the line up to something that I really like. The Mark IV retains the look and feel of the Mark line, and my impression of the Mark line has always favored quality, not necessarily one of operator friendliness. With the noted unfriendly ambidextrous safety exception, I can say that the Ruger Mark IV pistol is a quality and well thought out pistol that allows me not to use profane language as much as before regarding the takedown, and, especially, the assembly procedure. I do admit that during takedown I did use one profane word, and it fell between well and hallelujah. The expletive was said in the most joyous of temperament, since it was a blessed event. The Target model's quality of build is apparent throughout the new Ruger Mark IV pistol, from the bluing, the machining, and quality of fit. After a few personal changes to my Mark IV Target pistol, I know that this pistol will be seeing many range days. It seems that the end is near, and I must close this chapter of the Range Ronin Chronicles. I sure enjoyed you being with me. I hope to see you again in the near future. Until that time, be vigilant, be armed, and be safe out there. I do have to admit, however, as nice as the baseline Mark IV Target model is, the Hunter model has garnered my attention now, where it would have been quickly passed over before. It would seem that the Hunter model is very popular. By LGS had a bolo out, with 5 different suppliers in an effort to locate one for me. If you are interested in the Hunter model, please click the link in the description section below. Do see that review.